Happy Friday, guys! Amanda Kendall coming to you today with our Finance Friday video. So, we are going to talk about some CFO time in your business today and what you need to be dedicating that time to, what you need to focus on during that time, and why it is so freaking important to block down this time on your calendar and let it be a no interruption time for you. So, I first started doing CFO time in my business about 3 years ago. It was something that I just kind of willy-nilly let come in as it may. Prior to that, I would do it, I can get to that next week, You know, a month or two goes by and I'm trying to catch up on my books, trying to catch up on revenue goals and everything. And it just became so much and it was too much to handle and I just couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do it anymore in that fashion. Let me clarify that. I couldn't do it anymore in that fashion. And so I was like, there has to be a better way for this. There has to be a better way that I can go about this, that I can get in here, and that I can figure out a better way to do this. There has to be a better way. I just knew there had to be. And so I started dedicating, you always hear people talking about a business, you need to have your CEO time. You need to work on your business, not just in your business. You need to work on your business, not in your business, like repetitive. I'm sure we've all heard that so many freaking times. So, with that, I was like, well, if I have CEO time, why can't I have CFO time? Why can't I be the financial officer that my business needs and actually dedicate some dedicated time in my business to that? And so I started out with once a month. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this hour once a month on this time. And I blocked it off on my calendar and I made sure everybody knew. Like, everybody in my family knew, everybody in my business knew. It was just one of those things that I was like, this is my time. Don't bring me coffee, don't interrupt me, don't text me, don't call me, don't come in my office unless the building is burning down or one of my children is like on their way to the hospital with blood, guts, tears, something, maybe not tears, but blood or guts. I was like, don't interrupt me. This is my hour. This is when I focus on this. This is all I focus on during this hour. Over time, it extended to 2 hours a month, and now it's actually something I do 1 hour a week. I do it during my best operational time of the day, which for me is first thing in the morning. So Friday mornings between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., don't bother me because that's what I'm doing during that time. So, but I'm just saying it's something that you need to dedicate some specific time out to. It's something that you need to make sure that you are getting on your calendar and that you're honoring that time. As entrepreneurs, I think what happens is a client wants that time slot or something else comes up in that time slot and you wiggle and you adjust, and then before you know it, it's not a commitment anymore and you're not doing it. So first thing around CFO time is you have to make a commitment to it. You have to honor it. So find a time of your week that, and I don't recommend it being in the evenings or the weekends when you typically don't work, because then it's going to get shoved off or it's not in your normal work day, so you're not going to operate on it then, or you're not going to act on it then. So find a time during your normal work week and make it happen. You have to find that time, put it on your calendar, and you may need to adjust from week to week. So maybe 1 week it can be a Monday, and then after a couple weeks you're like, Mondays don't work for me, I'm too busy. So then you switch it to a Tuesday or whatever, but you're gonna find that time and I want you to put it on the calendar and I want you to honor it. This is probably one of the most beneficial things around the financial side of your business that you can do. Dedicate the CFO time. Now, in this time, what are you going to be doing? Because I have people that are like, well, I put the CFO time on my calendar, but I don't know what to do. And I'm just sitting there for an hour and no clue. So what you're going to focus on during this time. I focus on several things, but this is the only time during my week and my business that bills get paid. If it requires me to physically sit down and pay it and it's not on auto pay or it's not set up to be drafted out of the bank account, this is the only time it gets paid. This brings in a balancing act for you guys, because now you have to look at, okay, when is this bill due? Do I need to put it in my CFO time this week? Does it need to go in next week? What week does this bill need to go in? But that's the only time that I pay bills in my business is during my CFO time. It is the only time in my business that I actually sit down and deal with those at all. Payroll, when I'm running payroll, it gets done 1 week during my CFO time. That's when I'm running numbers. That's when I'm doing all of this. And I do my best to make sure this fits in. Depending on payroll dates, that may not always work, but I always try to fit it in during my CFO time. Now, during my CFO time, I am looking at what my goals were. So I sat down in October, November of every year and lay out the entire next year's financial goals. I know what I have to hit on a monthly basis. I know what I have to hit on a weekly basis. And I darn well know what I have to hit on a daily basis around my revenues in order to reach those goals. I also lay out, I do my forecasting, I do my budgeting. So I lay out my budget. And so I'm looking at my expenses during my CFO time as well. And I'm saying, okay, am I on track with my budget? Have I overspent? If I'm underspent, great. But if I've overspent, why? What caused that trigger? What happened there that caused that to happen? So I'm looking at my revenue goals and matching it to my revenue and making sure I'm on track. I'm looking at my budget and make sure I'm staying on budget for things here. And this is what I spend my CFO time doing. So I do any accounting work, any QuickBooks work, bookkeeping stuff that needs to be done. It happens during this time. Bills get paid during this time. So accounts receivable, accounts payable, all during my CFO time. So with that being said, there's a lot else that can go into your CFO time, but that is the gist of what you're looking for to get done there. You want to get that CFO time on your calendar and dedicate yourself to it. And when you do that, I promise that it's going to become a habit and it's going to make it so much easier to manage these numbers. I do an hour a week. You may not need an hour a week. You may have a bookkeeper that comes in. You may have people in your business that do this, but you need to make sure that this is getting managed each week. And for the love of all that is good in this world, guys, if you have a bookkeeper and a tax person, if you have someone in your business handling these things for you, don't let that cause you to lose touch with it, because that is where really bad things happen to businesses. This is how embezzlement occurs. This is how businesses sink without even realizing it's happening until it's too late and it's happened. So make sure that you're staying involved in this side of your business. Make sure you're staying involved in those numbers. So that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, is that CFO time. I really want to support you guys in that. So if you're struggling with anything in that, please drop it in the comments, shoot me a private message, whatever you want to do. You guys can check me out on my business page, Elevating Profits. And don't forget that I'm doing a webinar on Tuesday. And it is going to surround everything about why you need to use the cash in your business to start paying yourself and how you do that. So many people think in their business that I have to make more money to pay myself. I have to get this many more clients to pay myself. Well, darn it, stop it. Do it now, and I'm going to show you how. You're going to walk away with 4 steps that you can actually implement right away, coming off this webinar on Tuesday, that you are going to be able to implement and start using in your business right away to take a paycheck and start paying yourself. Maybe small, but you're going to start doing it, and I'm going to give you 4 steps to walk away from this training. That is on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'll drop the link in the comments below so you can get registered for that. If you're not able to make it on live, please still go ahead and register, because the only people that will get the replay are those registered. So if you know you want the training, you know you want to have those 4 steps, you know you need to start paying yourself, and you know that this has to happen, and you need somebody to help give you the steps to implement and do that, then go ahead and register so that you can get the recording, and then you can always reach out to me for questions afterwards. So we will have some Q&A time in this training, so if you're able to make it on live, that's going to be awesome, because we get some direct access to me to answer some questions around the steps I'm going to give you guys. So I hope everybody has a phenomenal Friday, an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys all on here next time.